I ain't folding under pressure. I ain't switching for no hoe. I ain't talking to no cop and I ain't telling on my bros. Long nights I sold drugs just to hit the studio. Now I'm eating steak and shrimp, bitch. I ain't eating sloppy Joe. That's Little Skies, welcome to the rodeo. And Little Skies says, welcome to the Guy and Harley podcast. I'm Harley Neville.
Little Skies, eh?
Little Skies, he's one of the mumble rappers that's actually talented.
Yeah, why do they call themselves Lil then?
Oh, well,
they cannot think of a fucking original, like, literally just a different first
they're
name.
Not. They're like, there's 6ix9ine and X-Tentation.
Yeah, but how many Littles are there?
Those guys, well, there's plenty, but it's a thing. It's a thing. It's been a thing for ages, though. Lil Jon, Lil Wayne.
There's like 2. I feel like there's like 5 little mumble rappers.
Oh, there's way more. Everyone's Lil something now. Lil Nevs.
Yeah, Lil Nevs.
Yeah, so welcome to the show. What's been going on, Guy?
Oh, not much, but I have just noticed this this masturbation glove, this purple masturbation glove. We're just showing it to just one glove, not 2, just one purple masturbation glove, just sitting on your desk for no explanation, no reason.
Well,
what is that there for?
Guy. There's always a reason for everything.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's not always immediately obvious what that reason is.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to talk, just to pad time and stuff like that. And then you go, the reason why it's there is because I recently got a tattoo on the palm of my hand. It's the same tattoo that I've had for about 9 years. So the other day I went into the tattoo artist to get my hand touched up, which is funny because normally it's my hand which is doing the touching up. Dad joke number 1.
Yeah.
So that's why I have the glove.
So the glove is to protect you while you're masturbating because of the tattoo.
Yeah.
Fresh tattoo.
Yeah.
I get you. I'm with you now.
Hey, I noticed a lot of these ladies on Bumble say that they like dad jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's great because I'm old enough to be your dad, So that's the new thing they like.
So that's two dad jokes. In case you're wondering, Harley's debuting some of his new stand-up comedy here on the podcast to kick things off. So that's cool. Yeah.
At least I've got fucking notes. Jesus.
I do. I've got some notes right here. I've got a lot of notes.
Good.
So what else has been going on?
Well, what's the top of your list on the notes? I mean, I have an exciting new job announcement. I don't normally like to announce where I work because I don't like to associate my employer with my online public persona.
Yeah, persona online.
Yeah. Like I don't like to identify an employer, and then because then I feels like, oh well, anything I post online can theoretically be traced to this employer in a way.
Yeah.
So I don't really like to publicly align myself like that.
This purple masturbation glove that could be traced back to my employer.
Exactly. But in this case, unfortunately, that purple masturbation glove could theoretically be transferred, connected back to my new employer. I am going to be, over the next 5 months, I'm going to go to Wellington 6 times, and in total I'm going to organise 11 film screening and networking events for Show Me Shorts Film Festival in Wellington and Auckland. So that's going to be taking up a bit of my time, and I'm sure I'll have some adventures from Wellington to report back on.
Like drinking a beer with an old friend. Crazy adventures such as drinking a few beers after a hard day's work before wrapping it up pretty early with an old friend.
That is probably what will happen. But I forgot to tell you guys that last time when I went down for My Lover, My Lazy Boy, we went out afterwards. Some of us went out afterwards, and it was just me. Initially, it was just me and 2 beautiful film industry professionals of the female variety. And then I invited my friend Kyle along, who's an old friend of ours and a local, and we went out partying, and it was pretty fun, just at the clubs. And I tell you what, I felt a lot cooler nowadays than I did back in the day when we used to actually party there on Courtney Place in Wellington. Like I felt, despite the fact that I was like, a very old man in the bar. In the bar, you know,
A very uncool old man cracking dad jokes at the bar. Despite that fact, you felt a lot cooler.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed there was a lot of beautiful women in Wellington, but I tell you what, I don't know what they were doing with their Monday nights at 2 a.m., but they weren't in the club with me. That's for sure. Well, most of them weren't. But I still had a very nice time, and I definitely felt a lot cooler.
Well, we were kind of ostracized.
Well, we were absolute losers, really.
Yeah.
But we didn't know it, but we were total losers.
We were really quite pathetic.
In Wellington, in our Wellington days.
In many ways.
Yeah.
If you look back. But, you know, we're just young kids.
Yeah.
Just young, dumb kids trying to...
Uneducated.
Yeah, but I remember those nights in the Wellington club scene not fondly.
Yeah.
Not fondly at all.
Oh, yeah. It was terrible.
Wasting time,
Nobody
wasting
wanted to talk
money.
to us.
People didn't want a bar of us. I debuted a pink shirt at one stage.
So did I.
Went down like a fucking sack of shit.
One New Year's, one New Year's I decided to wear a pink shirt, and then it was the same pink shirt that was suddenly this hot fashion, and literally everybody had the same distinctive pink checkered shirt from Hallenstein's, and so it was like you thought you were super cool when it was just you wearing it, and then suddenly you start seeing like uniformed versions of yourself on the street and at the club, and you realize that every dickhead's got one, and they do all look like dickheads, and that by extension means you look like a dickhead.
Speaking of fashion from that era, I remember debuting a cool
fedora.
Well, there was a couple of fedoras. Fedoras were. But I still own those. They're in Dunedin.
Yeah,
but I haven't brought them back.
Yeah, Cole Gadsby stole my lucky one and never gave it back.
So
never got laid again.
Fedoras and pink shirts. You can see where our love lives were going at the time.
But yes, so anyway, I did go out, and it was actually pretty fun.
Flared jeans, remember those?
I never wore flared jeans.
Oh, that was a thing for
that was more of a female thing.
That was a one season cycle at Hallenstein's.
But so this Show Me Short stuff that I'm coming down for, the first one's on March 27th, and it's a German film night where we screen 5 or 6 German short films at a bar. So if you're in the neighbourhood, you guys should get on along. There's 31 tickets left, and they normally sell out. So get on down and then come have a buy me a networking beer.
Well, so while we're on the subject of new jobs, I also have an announcement. I am now officially a teacher at a
Mr. Pigden
at a polytech institution here in Auckland, and it's pretty cool. The money is pretty good, you know, no complaints there. And it's really, you know, I've been kind of chasing this job for, you know, I don't know, 6 months or something, hoping that it was going to work out. And it was kind of right down to the wire, right down to the last minute, was not made official. They're like, maybe it's going to go forward, maybe it's not, we're not sure, you know. And then literally, I think 3 days before the course was due to start, they're like, yep, it's all go. Like, let's get stuck in. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, let's get stuck in, but actually this 19-week course has not been planned at all. Like, there is literally no plan for this course. There's a bunch of outcomes and things that we're saying we're going to teach, but there is literally nothing, not a fucking thing. And so I'm, at the moment, frantically trying to write.
You've got to make up an entire course.
I've got to make up...
How long is the course?
19 weeks.
You've got to make up 19 weeks worth of content, like, on the fly.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're really getting their money's worth out of that course.
Well, I know, and that's the other thing too. Like, you know, people pay money for this, so you don't want them to be disappointed. But yeah, so now it's official, Harley.
You're a teacher. You have become the thing that you hated.
You know,
you have become the thing that you always hated
I'll go
most.
one step deeper. You know, those who can do and those who can't teach. And I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
But I will also say that, you know, maybe more importantly, Harley, I'm an academic. I'm an academic now.
Don't to really call yourself an academic.
Yeah,
don't you need to be qualified in academia in some sense?
I'm afraid you just have to teach.
Is that really the
And
definition?
that's me. I'm an academic, mate.
Anybody who teaches. So if I teach
No,
somebody,
you got to teach at a tertiary institution.
Oh, okay.
So I'm an academic, you see.
And the cutoff for teaching is tertiary education or higher.
Yeah, you can't be teaching fucking high school students.
Okay.
No, you just did fucking.
Okay.
You're just a grub. But I am an academic.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, like, on the one hand, I've been sort of, really, trying for a job like this for a while, and I've been, really looking forward to the prospect. But on the other hand, a part of me feels that I'm grossly underqualified. A part of me is like, what the fuck am I doing? And it's kind of like, the Trump campaign, it was like President Trump, and he's like, yeah, man, I'm going to become president.
It was a drunken bet, but it somehow came true.
I'm going to do all these amazing things, and the president, I'm going to change the world, and, vote for me, and I'm going to do all this great stuff. And then you vote him in, and he's like, what does the president do again? I don't.
Yeah. So you are Trump, and your employer
Trump.
voted you in.
I am Trump at the moment. And I guess, I always feel like I'm going to get found out like Trump.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome, they call it.
With some of my tweets, perhaps. But also, it's like there's a scene, I don't know if you've seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
No, that doesn't sound like something.
So they did a terrible remake of it, sort of a couple of years ago. But I'm talking about the old '70s one, and basically there's this.
He's got special glasses.
There's this. That's They Live. But basically, essentially, what happens if you go to sleep? These aliens create pods of people that look like you, and then they basically kill you, and then your body snatched. Your body snatched. And they assume you, but they're not really you. They're just these aliens. And anyway,
like the Faculty.
All of them, eventually the whole world is turning into aliens, but there's this one, and there's just a few holdout people that have managed to kind of stay awake or get away or whatever. And anyway, one of them's walking down the street, and she bumps into who she thinks is one of the people that is still a human. And she's like, hey, what's up? And he turns around and he points at her and he goes, and then all the people around pointing go, because they're all body snatched. And that's me. I'm that person who's like, hey, what's going on? And everyone goes, because they found me out.
Yeah, right.
And I'm now the imposter amongst them.
Yep.
So that is kind of what's going on with my teaching.
That's an analogy for your teaching career.
Yes,
yeah.
So far.
Okay.
So I'm desperately writing lessons one day ahead of when I teach them to the students.
Yeah.
It's very stressful.
And he's getting the nevs in at some point.
I'm getting the nevs in to basically kill
a day.
Yeah. I'm like, Harley is very narcissistic, and he loves to talk about himself. Now, if I set him off, how long can he talk about himself for? Can we go 2 hours? Can we go 3? Like, what are the possibilities here? Well, there seems to be. Hopefully, there's a potential to fill up a whole half day on this. So I will be bringing Harley Neville in to.
Well, listen, mate. If you want it to go well, the key with everything I do is preparation. If you want it to be good, we need to work on it and make sure I know what I'm talking about. Because we rely too much on improv, it's not going to end very well.
Yeah, just like in acting, if you rely too much on improv, it's not going to go well.
Remember when I asked those kids if they watched First Dates NZ and literally none of them put their hands up?
Not a single person ever was like, who the fuck is this guy?
So you see, I've got to do my research.
And you're like, hey, well, I kind of had a whole bit around this. Now you really destroyed like what I was going to... Oh
yeah!
No one's seen it.
This was for when I did. This was for when Guy and I road tripped.
Sandwich Guy
to Whitianga to teach a school there for 2 days. You can go back and listen to the road trip episode. I think it's called Road Trip. To get all up to speed on that.
So I'm a teacher now. But once I've managed to get on top of this course writing business, in 19 weeks. I'm sure it'll be very, very cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. I'd hate to have to worry about the course constantly. Trying to have to think like, oh, fuck, what the fuck am I going to teach them tomorrow? And what about the next day? And what about the next day?
Well, that's the thing, because these aren't short. Like, what is your idea? Because to me, like look,
man, you got to take in a camera and show them what ends fucking front, and then like tell them what the parts are, and go like, yeah, so this is how you do that, and be like, turn it a little bit practical.
Oh, don't worry, mate. That's all of my lessons are practical based.
Okay.
Of course, like there's no, but I guess
you're gonna encourage them to shoot lots of shit.
Yeah.
Like so, because the whole point of the course is like creating
digital,
online content,
digital
right?
media and design. So essentially, again, it's sort of 50% what I know extremely well, and 50% what I have zero clue about. It's
going to make you a great filmmaker at the end of it, because you're going to learn all this random theory shit that you otherwise wouldn't have.
Well, tomorrow I'm talking about the echo chamber. You know about that one on Facebook? Facebook algorithms?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the echo chamber that is Facebook.
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about tomorrow.
Right, and what are you going to tell them?
The social credit system in China.
Yeah, which is all related. It's all going to come together.
I'm just basically talking about how, we are in this echo chamber. We have to be aware of that. Is this a negative because we're talking about ethics?
I never try to delete people that I don't agree. Like, so I've got a few people on my fucking Facebook, man, that post the stupidest right-wing shit, like pro-gun, things, and pro-God things, and anti-abortion and anti-vaccine. Even a couple of flat earthers, they're all on.
There's a few
there.
Flat earthers in there.
Yeah.
Well, one of the but you trying to keep the.
I'm just trying to keep the balance. I want to know what they're talking about.
Exactly. You're trying to remove.
Yes. I chime in every now and then and try and change their world as well with a stunning Facebook burn of some description.
Yeah. The flat earthers are a big concern to me, but
they're a big concern for you. For me, they're not a concern, as in they're never going to get any type of influence because they're stark raving mad. But my concern is just that it's a symptom of how our society is decaying, and in this way that the internet is combining everybody's stupidity into one giant pool of stupidity, which can be a big dangerous pool.
Thank you very much, Professor Harley, because essentially that is exactly one of the topics that we're talking about, is that by having these social media platforms, they can attract extreme views, but then they also give, those people a platform to sort of spout these extreme views, and then other people to be drawn to them when they otherwise wouldn't be, because they wouldn't be aware of it, they wouldn't know it, and people would just shut them down immediately. Whereas now, if you go, look, I don't really believe in global warming, I might say to you, well, that's crazy, and once upon a time you go, oh, maybe it is crazy, maybe the science is true. But then you go, I don't think I'm crazy. Is global warming real? Google.
Yeah.
And then the first three things, global warming, are fake. Global warming explodes as not real.
Yeah.
and
it's definitely not the first thing that shows up, but yes.
And you'll click on those, and then you'll be led into the madness of and unfortunately that is. So that's again.
Well, look,
we've started this session early. We've started my course early.
Yeah.
And it's begun right now. But yes, that is what we're talking about.
Well, I'm glad I could help you articulate that. You should really just play them this podcast tomorrow. That'll kill a couple hours or 45 minutes.
Well, I am playing them a whole episode of Black Mirror. So.
Oh yeah. Well, you gotta play them the whole zombie film, right?
Well, at some point, I guess.
It's got to be done. No, I feel like that's something you got to do early to establish your credentials. Because it's something you can really talk about. Then you can refer to it constantly, and they will actually know what you're talking about. Because that's something that's obviously a deep source of knowledge for you, that particular film. So you're going to refer to it a lot.
Deep source of trauma as well.
Yeah. Well, either way, you're going to refer to it a lot, I'm sure. So
either way, it's going to inform a lot of the way you communicate. So you got to
exactly. So you got to show them that at the beginning of the course, so they understand where you're coming from.
Well, the problem is, Harley, I actually have things that I need to teach in the curriculum.
Yeah.
And none of them involve them watching 2 hours zombie holocaust.
I don't see how you can't justify them watching the zombie film that you made as an initiation, setting up your credentials to them, and also you can use it as a learning tool for them. You can talk about the marketing of it as well, and just whatever other issues, the online stuff, like how it was marketed and the spending money on a sales agent and all those things. That's all related. Not sales agent, publicist.
Yeah, I mean, it is to some degree related. but it's not in my course plans at the moment. I have played them the trailer, of course, and I've played them lots of little clips of things, but the whole film.
Oh, mate, you'll do it, and you'll do it by the end of this course. I'm telling you.
Well, I probably will, because there'll be a day where I'm like, shit, I haven't planned the course.
Yeah, exactly.
Better watch this.
Kieran Charnock, big star. Star of the movie Stray. He is a Sifty 150 listener. He tunes in on the YouTube channel. That's we have a YouTube channel for the Guy and Harley podcast. You can cruise along and watch these videos after the fact. We record them live on Twitch, and they get uploaded to YouTube as well, so you can watch them and listen to the show there, and that's what he does. And anyway, he is up at the moment, and we're hoping to connect with him very shortly, so that'll be cool to talk about the project season 2, because he's a big fan of the project season 1, and we've been making, rattling our sabers and grumbling about maybe doing the project season 2 at some point, and this is exciting him. This is exciting Kieran, so we're going to meet and brainstorm a few project season 2 ideas.
We want to
so shout out Kieran Charnock.
We want to continue to excite him. Yes,
we do. He watched the Guy and Harley sitcom episode 1 and 2 recently, and Not Wanking, and also Blow Up Doll. He only just found those now.
Can we talk about the project that he's up here for?
I think we probably can't, because he probably is not supposed to publicly announce that he's involved.
Damn
with
it, because
like
it really exposes your ignorance, and I wanted to discuss that on the podcast.
Well, Guy is referring to me not knowing about a pop culture phenomenon, which is a book that came out.
Not really a pop culture phenomenon, but like it's like the freaking,
a successful book that came out
like
that I didn't hear about.
It's like the Da Vinci Code almost. It's on that level of being well known, and you were like, he's in this thing based on, I don't know, or I don't think you even knew it was a book.
No, I hadn't heard of it. He told me he was up for a show, and I was like, sweet man, sounds cool, but I'd never heard of it.
Cool story, bro.
And I was like, it sounds like a some big show. It sounds cool, whatever. And
fresh eggs.
And then, but then he didn't. But wait, fresh eggs? What?
Oh, that's just a show that's just come out. You thought it was like the equivalent of that.
Yeah,
but actually it's the equivalent of the most popular, most read New Zealand book probably of all time, which has gained a following internationally, all over the place, and I'm pretty sure
man, I can't be expected to keep up with. I can't expect to keep up with everything,
Booker Prize.
Man.
It won the whatever that super prestigious book award is that like is awarded to the greatest book. It won that fucking prize. Nothing?
No, so I didn't know the thing. But so yes, anyway, I didn't really know about it. But good for him. We'll talk about it later, like, once it's out.
Yeah. Well, if you can verify that it's okay to mention he's been cast in it, then we can call it
once the fucking show's out. Once the show's out.
Yeah, I know, but
then it's going to be obvious that he's in it.
Okay. But anyway, so we'll be having a chat about that in between me writing this course and some other things. So what else we got on?
I think I didn't get that. Well, guess what?
What?
I didn't get an audition. My agent called me the other day and asked my availability for a Shortland Street role purely based off a prior audition. So no audition required. I just needed to be available. So, and then they needed me for about 12 days in March, and for a juicy dramatic character based on, and hopefully not even having to audition, just hopefully just got it. But I had to be available for 12 days in March, and I was available for all of them except for 24 hours on one day, like where I leave at lunchtime and I come back at lunchtime the next day. That was it. That was the only time throughout that whole period where I couldn't possibly be there, because I'm going to Wellington for Show Me Shorts. And they were like, okay, well, sorry, Mr. Neville, we can't use you, because you've got to be available for the whole time for sure, because of schedules and all that shit.
Because we'll be shooting 50 pages of your dialogue that day.
Exactly.
So if you're not there, we've missed out on 50 pages, which is really important for us to have those 50.
Yeah. Exactly.
One day.
So that's a bit of a shit because, long has it been my dream to get on New Zealand's finest television show, Shortland Street.
Fucking hell. Never have two more opposite things to be said at the same time.
So next time, though, my agent did say that there's a possibility still, like, for other characters that might be coming up. So, we can only hope that the dream might come true one day.
This is like that story about how you missed out on the role for Out of the Blue.
Yeah,
all those years ago. It was going to be the launching point.
Yeah, of my career.
It was going to be the moment.
In Wellington, it was going to be my big break. But bloody, what's his name? Keith somebody.
Carl Urban.
That's the one.
No.
That fucker Carl Urban stole my role. I was up for that. If Carl Urban wasn't in that role, I would be in that movie. I was a minor character that got cut because they needed to give him more screen time. And unfortunately for me, they cut me in the writing phase, not in the editing phase. So I didn't get to shoot it. But I had the role, and I had the mustache, and the long hair, and the mullet, and all that.
The guy was your role was there.
No, he was an amalgamation. He was an amalgamation of two other cop roles.
I'm pretty sure there was
they just amalgamated the different roles and they simplified them into one or two people at a time.
I've watched this. I'm pretty sure there was 3 cops.
Well, I've got to watch it. I never could bring myself to watch it.
And I swear that because I've watched it, and obviously I was looking out, and I was like, hey.
Out of the Blue. Go check this out.
I was like, yeah,
it's a movie, a New Zealand movie.
Even the audition scene, because we both auditioned for that role. Even the audition scene, I was like, this looks like that scene that Harley auditioned for. We both auditioned for. And but
why is it so difficult for you to comprehend that the scene would still be in it, but it would be combined with other scenes from a different character to make one character? So the scene would still be in it, obviously, but instead of using 2 actors, you use 1. Okay, why is this so hard to grasp?
I just felt like there was those 2 actors that.
Whoa!
I
feel like that's unsubstantiated because really, you're just suggesting that they cast me, said yes, and then just changed their mind.
Yeah.
Based off nothing though, not having seen me or anything like that.
Well, I think what I'm saying is they did, and they changed their mind because they just got a guy from Dunedin to play that role.
I don't think so, because I told them I had Dunedin. I'm from Dunedin. I told them, I was like, yeah, it's totally perfect. I've got free accommodation and all that. You don't have to worry about that. Which was actually a fucking lie, because most of the, I'd be staying on friends' couches type thing. I wouldn't actually have somewhere decent to stay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He had a mustache. He had a mullet.
Yeah.
He was saying your lines.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Feels like he was just a guy that replaced you.
He was the other guy, and my lines got given to him.
Well, you should probably. It's only been 15 years. You should probably watch it.
Yeah, well, I should definitely watch it. Out of the Blue.
Out of the Blue.
Apparently, it's a very good movie.
Great film.
Starring Carl Urban.
Highly recommend it. Very good film.
Close to our hearts due to it being from our city. Set in our city.
Just down the road. I knew some people that were involved. So,
yeah, well, I'm guessing I didn't get that web series, that sort of community web series that I said I went for the other week, that I said was a bit unprofessionally run when I went to the audition and that. Yeah, well, they must have heard the podcast, because I haven't had a call, because they must be listeners, because I haven't had a call, sadly. So maybe I shouldn't have called them a community fucking run outfit, broadcast that. But yeah, so I haven't heard anything, so that's probably not happening, because I'm sure they said they're filming in March, and I'm sure I would have heard something by now.
We should quickly just mention the Oscars. We talked about the Oscars last podcast.
Yeah. So we didn't know what the fuck we were talking about, and then they were a week away still, right?
Yeah, and also I believe by the time you posted it, they'd changed their mind about. Yeah. So everything was out of date that we said.
It was instantly out of date.
But
and Jason, was it Jason Combs or who was it? Somebody commented on it saying as such, and I was like, "Thank you, I am aware of the current and changing, ever-fluid situation that is pop culture references. Thank you.
So, but due to public pressure, such as this podcast, they were forced.
Yeah, that's a good point. We are part of the public outcry that changed
the Oscars
that decision
for the better.
Jared Murray, Adam St. John, you're welcome. Both of you guys, you're welcome.
Isaac Newcomb.
Yep. I don't know if he listens.
No, he doesn't.
But the other guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So don't mar their good names with that non-listener.
I apologise.
There's a Sifty 150 listeners, goddammit. This is an elite club. And if Isaac isn't in it, well, that's Isaac's loss.
He can just go get fucked.
I hope he doesn't tune into that bit. Nah, he'd get it.
He'd get it. So anyway, Best Picture went to Green Book. Seen that?
No, of course not.
Best Foreign Film, Roma. That was by the little-known director of Harry Potter 3, in case you were wondering.
Right, okay.
So he did this the only thing...
What's his name?
Only thing... Alfonso Cuarón or something. So he was Best Foreign Film and Best Director. He won for Roma, which is on Netflix. You can see it on Netflix. It's in black and white. I don't know if that will influence your decision, but it will certainly influence Harley's.
Yeah, well, as soon as I heard that, I was like, fuck it. I mean, Schindler's List was great. But, you know what I remember the most? Fucking little girl in a red jacket.
I think that was kind of the point.
Yeah, I know, but, I guess it was totally the point. What I'm saying is colour's good. Colour TV is good.
But also, look, he directed Children of Men.
Oh, that's a good movie.
He's the
he's
the fucking man.
You would never. So you were calling out his shittest project.
I was being facetious.
Ah.
I was using a little bit of humor. Obviously, you're very ignorant to his filmography, so you wouldn't get that.
No. So the joke's on me. Hey, shout out Jeremy Housen. I don't know if he's still listening. I haven't heard from him for a wee while. Shout out Jeremy Housen.
I hope he's doing okay and hanging in there. And thank you for the fantastic artwork, which is still up on my wall and I look at every day.
Yeah, me too. It's in my room as well.
Best actor, Rami Malek.
Yep.
From
Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, a.k.a. Mr. Robot.
Yeah. I only watched one episode of that, but yeah, I don't mind that guy's face.
He kind of reminds me of you somehow.
Yeah, that's good.
A foreign version of you.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I like that.
I'm not sure why. But Mr. Robot, go and check that out. He won it for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Which I have not seen.
No.
And Best Actress was Olivia Colman for The Favourite.
Right.
And obviously, I should actually to mention, so I was filming an Oscars party. So basically, it was a whole bunch of people getting all dressed up and going to this Oscars party and watching the Oscars. So I didn't really see too much of it, but I did happen, because the Oscars are live, I did happen to catch a few beautiful moments, and one was when Spike Lee won for Best Adapted Screenplay for Black Klansman, and he went up and he was like, "Don't fucking play me off, motherfuckers." And it was live, and everyone was like, it was there was that awkward laugh from the audience, and it was like, that's so beautiful, because they can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
And this is prime time, and they just played that straight up. Yeah. And it must have got through, they've got the 3-second delay or the 10-second delay. Clearly got through that, because no one beeped him.
No.
And this was being broadcast over here, so I'm assuming it's exactly the same. So it was just a beautiful moment of someone, because also I did see a few people, they were talking, but you couldn't hear anything. And there was music playing. And then they were kind of like, and then they just had to walk away. So they were literally they were really policing that.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
you got to play people off. They got to stick to their fucking time.
Well,
everyone's special, but you've all got a certain amount of time. So.
I guess the issue is, people those categories that we talked about were best, like sort of those lower tier people that were getting played off. No one was playing off the top ones.
Right.
That's the kind of icky part of it.
Right.
But yes, Nocturnal New Zealand, who's listening on the live stream or watching on the live stream, said, "Rad to hear about Spike Lee. Signed up to his masterclass." Have you watched any of those masterclasses?
Yeah. I've watched the trailer, or various trailers for.
The trailers don't count.
Well, I haven't done the whole fucking course. If that's what you're suggesting, have you done a masterclass course?
Oh.
Well, what the hell?
Well, I'm just you said it.
No, so I'm saying I've watched the various trailers for the various individuals, that looked interesting. Like I think I looked at the Spike Lee trailer, and I looked at like some composer, and who's no doubt incredibly famous. I'm sure you probably guessed.
Some guy, John Williamson or something.
No, it wasn't a name like that. I'm sure it was more of a foreign name. But anyway, I watched a few of them. I definitely checked out a few of them. They seem pretty interesting. Seem like they're probably, they are probably worth it, I'd say, just based off those trailers.
I talked to Adam St. John, who had
shout out Adam,
purchased a few of those masterclasses, and he said that they weren't very good.
Oh, okay.
Right. Now, not Spike Lee's one, so can't comment on Spike Lee's, but he said he purchased a few and he said they're just a bit generic and covering the basics.
Right. Well, yeah, but I mean, the guy's an experienced dude, so probably it's basics for him, but not necessarily for you or me or, whoever.
Oh, are you saying we're not masters of our craft, Harley?
Well, not me, maybe you.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe we're going a bit far to say we're masters of our craft. Certainly, our careers wouldn't reflect that qualification.
I'm sure that it would. I'm sure it would educate me to a lot of things. I'm just saying, if I watched that Spike Lee thing and actually partook in it and did it properly, I bet I'd learn a lot. But Adam knows more than me about that stuff.
But I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
I'm definitely not. I'd do it if Spike Lee himself was like, "Hey Harley, do you want to like come and be in this course?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, boy," but not online.
I feel like it's a bit of a con job, those ones. Because I also think that...
No, I reckon it's not so much a con because it's actually like it really is these people, because normally you get infomercials and it's basically it's infomercials but it's not respected people or it's people that you've kind of barely heard of, and like I've done things but they're not like the best,
right.
the most respected artists, whereas this one is like they've really gone out of their way to get the best of the best and get this kind of like alone time with them and film this in-depth tutorial, which I'm sure they put a lot of work into. It's pretty impressive. Sure,
but what I kind of think is, because, collectively they all came out sort of around the same time.
Yeah.
So what I think is this company approached all these super high profile things. So they go, look, what's the difference between us and everyone else? You guys are the best.
Yeah.
So that means that everyone's going to watch this shit. We're putting it exclusively on thing. We're putting it at a very high pay bracket. So, people like, it's not $10 a freaking click or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could make in this much passive income per year from this thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do I have to do? And they go, well, you just have to come in for like a day. We set everything up for you. You don't really have to do anything and just kind of talk about like the basics of your thing. And this is good. We're getting some feedback right now from these classes. So anyway, and so we don't need, because they also maybe like some of them will be like, well, I don't want to give away my shit. As in, I don't want to tell you how I do this really cool stuff. That's what makes me a great director and you suck ass.
Yeah, well.
However, Nocturnal NZ says, depends on the class. I'm doing Samuel L. Jackson's masterclass, Hans Zimmer. It's awesome and it's real people and it's really good because they are normal. So maybe it is pretty good.
Yeah.
I remain skeptical after Adam's conversation, and just when I looked at those previews, I was like, sounds like kind of stuff that you should already know, but we'll see. Maybe
Well, we won't because we're not going to do them.
Well, I might if Nocturnal New Zealand can recommend me the best one that I should check out relating to probably directing, then I will take his advice and check it out.
It's time to open up Buzz on Bumble, because I am still single, as is known. But I noticed
the cafe faux pas.
I did notice that 35 people on Bumble had swiped me right, but you can't see who they are unless you either swipe right blindly through random profiles until you happen to match with them, or you pay for Bumble Pro. And if you pay for Bumble Pro, you can see them all straight away. So, for research purposes, for the show, out of respect for the Sifty 150, I decided to absorb a business expense of $14 to pay for 1 week of Bumble Pro and have a look at who these 35 people were.
Which you will claim back on tax because it is research.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I paid it, I upgraded, and you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy
than those 35 people.
Boy, that was disappointing. I mean, these weren't bumblebees. These were bumble C's and D's at best. I mean, I can see why why I don't get any matches on Bumble. It's because the people that are swiping me right are definitely not the people that I'm swiping right. Okay, and the people that I'm swiping right see me and say, to the left. So evidently I'm not half as hot as I actually think I am, which is obviously a devastating revelation to realise. Maybe
the hipster of Kingsland,
the Kingsland hipster,
is not really the coolest dude on the Bumble scene.
Yeah, I had a Bumble A once, but she buzzed off to LA. # save the bees. Something I noted that a lot of these matches that I had were from Wellington and other parts of the North Island. So either these ladies have their settings set at any red-blooded male within 800 kilometers of me, or those people swiped me right at some point in the past when I was outside of Auckland months ago, which means that these 35 people are the total sum of people that have swiped me right, not just now and not just in Auckland, but everyone ever for the last, 6 months or so. So that's also quite depressing.
Yeah, that seems more likely.
Yeah. And so I went through the 35 and I swiped a few right, and I ended up with about 10 matches. And literally every single one of them let me expire. And finally, I extended one of them 24 hours, because you can do that. You can extend them. Right?
Extended the expiration.
Yeah. She was about to let my ass expire, but she finally sent me a message, and you know what she said? She actually had a decent opening message. She said, so Harley, what's your ideal first date? Okay, great. Okay, now we've got something to talk about. She was probably a little underwhelmed by my wine, cheese and astronomy date at the Stardome Observatory suggestion, but nevertheless, it was a good opening message. So we've been chatting since then, but it turns out she lives in Hamilton. And so considering I can't be fucked meeting anybody that doesn't live in Kingsland, the chances of me going to Hamilton are pretty fucking slim, Yeah.
Well, I've seen this Bumble Match, and I have to say, she could be worth the drive.
Yeah, she
could be worth the trip.
She does appear to be a good-looking lady.
And that is a pretty good opener.
Yeah. Well, at least it's something to talk about.
And she does appear to be half your age, which is a very important prerequisite. Less than half your age.
She is 28, I think, or possibly 27, but I'm pretty sure it was 28. So, that's not a bad age for a 35-year-old man.
Yeah.
That's not so bad. Now, admittedly, I'm 36 next month, but let's not delve into that. Let's not dwell on that stuff. But I did, and I also matched with a pretty woman on Bumble called Daisy. it's a pretty name. She's shorter than me and younger than me and exotic looking and petite and athletic, and all as per my description on first dates of my ideal partner.
Which they look to get the opposite of. Which they look to cast the opposite of.
I guess they wanted
quite
me to
specifically.
I guess they wanted me to broaden my horizons, but some horizons are just too broad.
Oh man, the dad joke's coming thick and fast tonight. Thick and fast. Thick and fast.
So with this girl, the match was about to expire. So I extended her, and then she finally sent me a message, and the beginning of the rest of our lives began. You know what she said? She said, "Hey, fucking hey." Okay, this is the female equivalent of a dick pic. Ladies, of opening with a dick pic.
It's not
It gives me nothing, and it turns me off, all right?
That's a remote. That's a terrible analogy.
You know what I did? I expired her fucking ass. Straight up. I just let the match expire. Okay? It was a catch and release sort of situation. Okay, so I don't I don't have room in my life for that kind of negativity, all right? So stop wasting my time, ladies, all right? I'm your baby daddy in waiting.
I can't wait.
Hey.
I can't wait for you you're getting 0 dates on Bumble because you've rejected all these people that just wanted to open with a tag of hey.
Okay, sure. But I know you're going to say that I'm a whiny bitch when it comes to Bumble.
Yeah.
All right. But are you honestly suggesting that I, the lord of my existence,
the prince hipster of Kingsland,
the prince hipster of Kingsland, might wallow in the filth with the rabid masses of the bumbling dead stumbling towards me groaning, hey. Okay? Not gonna happen.
Yeah, but
not on my watch, Gary.
We all know that they're not gonna just that's the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah.
So then you engage and we're off to the races.
Okay.
If you don't engage, then there's no races will be won. And you'll be stuck on the starting line.
Yeah, well, look, I refuse to try harder, okay? Because I believe in an egalitarian future for men and women. I believe the patriarchy exists and we need to topple it. And if that means that women need to, harden up a little and actually make the first moves and put in some effort, then God damn it, that's what we'll do together, ladies. Okay, we will train up. All right, and I'm spreading this idea that I need to put the moves on because I've got the testicles is ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. I'm the world's most eligible bachelor.
Well, I was going to say it's also probably related to the fact that you're short and bald.
Well, look.
There's other factors at play here. I don't think you would have to do that if you were looked like Brad Pitt.
Okay. Yeah, no, hang on a fucking second. My best friend, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'm just saying.
Have you noticed, Guy? When I make jokes that prop you up. Alex Sideshaft. I talk about the gargantuan penis that you have.
You said
okay, I build you up.
Fiercely uncool.
No, I said wrestling was fiercely uncool. Wrestling. Yeah, I think you're cool. You're a cool dude.
Okay, well, I'm just pointing out some other factors because you seem to be a little bit on your high horse about this.
Well, no. Okay?
There's some other extenuating circumstances that you might want to consider in your campaign.
Okay, look. Somebody needs to call up the fucking Bachelor, all right? Because I am gainfully employed. All right, I'm financially secure, emotionally mature, responsible, creative, funny, motivated. I've got a great smile and twinkly blue eyes, and not very long ago I had a sperm count done, and my boys are swimming, okay? So yet here I sit, the world's most eligible bachelor, okay, in my mid-30s, more eligible than I've ever been before. But it's okay. It's okay, Guy. Do you want to know why? Because the second wave of the single cycle was about to crash. Okay? All the women I fell in love with in my teens and 20s got married eventually, which was heartbreaking.
Yep.
But now they're all getting divorced. And here I am, waiting like a stone. And these ladies are second time round, so they see straight through the bullshit. So when they see me driving my Nissan Cube, they bite their bottom lip and they go, ooh, damn, that's a sensible motherfucker. So, yeah. But to be honest, people do actually joke that I should go on The Bachelor and apply for it. But my usual response is that the last time I checked, they weren't searching for short bald men in their mid-30s, to hand out the roses.
No.
Can you just imagine how relieved each one of those 23-year-old Instagram models would be when I took away her rose? I don't give her the rose. She's like, oh, fucking thank God. Yeah, somehow I just don't think I'd get that role.
Juniorum says, how's your day going, fellas?
Oh, it's good, thanks, mate. We're actually in the middle of something, though.
We're kind of in the middle of something, so if you could not interrupt us, that would be great.
No, you can interrupt us, but,
Yeah, look, I have to go to work quite soon.
Constructive.
But there's nothing like having a beer or two before going to work 8 hours overnight.
Yeah.
To sharpen the skills up,
Yeah, sharpen your senses.
So I should quickly. You've opened the Bumble files.
Okay.
I'm opening the Twitter file. Not the Twitter files. Not the Tinder files. The Uber files.
Yeah, that other one.
The Uber files. So, I've seen a lot of crazy shit in my time as an Uber driver. And nothing really surprises me these days. But I was quite amused by a story recently. So I was driving along K Road, which is... shall we say, known for its ladies of the night.
Yep.
And I got a pickup for someone called Shay.
All right.
I was like, okay, that's a guy's name as far as I know. And a woman exited an apartment wearing not too many clothes.
So you just gave away... Okay, no, you continue, but continue.
And, what, a first name? Or
continue.
And so this woman came out and she was like, I was like, pick up for Shay?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
And I was like, you think that's what?
But this must happen all the time where people order Ubers
sometimes.
for other people. Because I've ordered Ubers for other people.
But normally they go, yes, that's my boyfriend, or yes, that's my friend. There's no confusion. And then she looked at the phone. She goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I go, we're going to the somewhere or other hotel. And she was like, yeah, that's it, the hotel. Yeah. And I was like, alrighty. And then I started driving, and she goes, wow, you're not Indian. And I was like...
Classic. Racist New Zealand.
I was like, no, I'm one of the...
Oh, good spotting. Keen eye on you.
I was like one of the few white Uber drivers around. She was like, oh, hey, well, look, I know that you're not going to be creepy then, which is...
And
I was like, no, I'm not going to be creepy. No, don't fear.
Yeah.
And she goes, cool, I'll get into the front. So she just climbed into the front from the back.
Yeah.
And I was like... Righty.
Yeah.
Okay. And she goes, do you know what I'm doing? And I was like, no. You going to see a friend? And she's like, well, he's a client. And I was like, and I'm a cool girl sort of thing. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And she was like, do you want to know like what my brief was? And I was like, sure, yeah. She goes, no, you're not going to judge me, are you? And I was like, no, I'm just the Uber driver, lady. I'm just the Uber driver.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
And
she was like,
that's about when you slowly unzipped.
I am taken man Harley Neville, so I would never be so unprofessional in my place of business. Yeah. This lady, on the other hand, maybe less professional. So she read out her brief, and what surprised me about this is that this was texted to her.
Yeah.
So her agency had texted this info to her and was like, so you're going to meet up with this guy called Shay. Yeah. Right? You need to have pink...
I know two guys called Shay.
Pink toenails and pink or red toenails and fingernails.
Yeah.
And you need to be wearing black stockings.
Yeah.
Black silk stockings and silver high heels.
Okay.
And I was like...
Right.
Then...
Right.
Shay has booked you out for 1 hour. For 25 minutes, you are going to give him a foot job until he ejaculates between your toes. Then, for the rest of the time, you are going to massage his penis, his flaccid penis, with the sole and heel of your foot in your stockings.
Okay.
And I was like, huh.
Okay.
That's, very confidential private information you shouldn't be sharing with me, but okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, like...
Okay. And how surprised were you when you pulled up outside our place?
I was shocked when I took her to your room.
Was that quite surprising for you? Or?
So anyway, and she was like, yeah, you actually, you're quite good looking. And I was like, oh, thank you. Do my best.
I grew this mullet myself.
This mullet is 100% my own. And she was like, yeah, if you came into the strip club, I'd definitely sleep with you. And I was like, well...
Which strip club did she say
I
that?
didn't ask. I actually did not ask. But I was like, oh, well, that's very flattering of you to say. And she was like, yeah, she's like, I kind of don't even want to go around to this guy's thing now. And I was like, yeah, well, we're pretty much here. And she was like, yeah, what's your favorite position? I bet it's doggy. It's doggy, isn't it? I was like, let's get a little bit, personal here. Yeah. And she was like, have you ever had a foot job before? And I was like, well, I don't really want to delve into my private life. She goes, if I put my foot on your crotch now, like, would you get a hard on? And I was like, I am actually my place of business, and I'm trying to drive. We're here actually. And she was like, oh yeah. And she was like, yeah. And she goes, oh look, because she was meeting him outside. And also, this is the thing. So I thought in my head, I was like, okay, this guy, what do I imagine this guy to be? Some fat perverted creep.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's unfair, but yeah,
it is
sure.
totally unfair. But that's what I imagined in my head. Turned out, totally normal looking dude, not fat, not old.
Yeah. Turns out that being fat is not a prerequisite for having a foot fetish.
Being perverted, yeah, and yes, and hiring a prostitute, of course.
Yeah.
However, I will say that I did call his number before because no one had come out, to be picked up. So I called his number, and it was a answering machine of a French man.
Bonjour.
Fucking French. The dirty French.
That's racist.
It's always the French.
It's a racist generalization.
Always the creepy French. Just fucking... I've never met a Frenchman who wasn't lazy, and this guy was too lazy to get on Bumble and Tinder.
That's very insulting to all of your French friends. And the French filmmakers that we've worked with.
And... Yeah, he was.
I'd
too
like
lazy.
to formally distance myself from Guy's statements on this show.
He was too lazy to do that. So he was like, "God damn it! I just get all my preferences sorted and pay for it." So anyway, he did that, but then as we were sitting there, she wasn't getting out of the car, and she was like, "Oh, should we just do something to make him jealous?"
What?
And I was like, "No."
What the fuck? Why would you even want to? What?
No,
that sounds like there's such a pile of shit in your lap for no reason.
Exactly.
Let's start a fight with a random fucking prostitute hirer.
I was like, no, look, I've got a girlfriend, and
I'm fucking working,
and I'm working here, so I'll and she was like, oh yeah, of course, okay, see you later.
Yeah,
and that was my
That is very unprofessional of her. 'Cause now
so
you know
many
his,
unprofessional
you know
things.
his name and have his phone number, and you know where he lives, and
Well,
you know
I know
what he's
what
into.
hotel he's
Yeah.
staying at.
Oh, true. Okay, but
But to be, in reality, I feel like this is an out-of-town Frenchie.
yeah, he's
Looking for
passing
some,
through.
looking for some hot foot action.
Yeah.
Can't be bothered
Yeah.
playing the game. So
He wants a foot job, but he doesn't want to do the footwork.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah.
You got it. That you've topped yourself. That's the dad joke number 1 right there
Oh, yeah?
of this podcast. He wanted the foot job, but he didn't want to do the footwork.
Yeah, you like that?
I love
I'm
it.
feeling that.
I love that
Feeling
one.
that one. Good.
So that was what happened, and really we have to leave because I have to leave
Because you
got
got
to
to
work.
go to work. Yeah, yeah.
So I was just really I got taken aback by the level of unprofessionalism
Of this prostitute.
of this prostitute.
Excuse me, this prostitute was incredibly unprofessional.
She was revealing things about her clients.
Well,
Good times.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I speculate as to what I would have done in, your shoes.
Well, probably something quite different. and it might have involved driving away before dropping her off. If it was your shoes.
Well, what kind of professional is she if she's going around giving the product away for free to bloody Uber drivers?
Well, no, handsome Uber drivers. Harley.
Oh, handsome Uber drivers, right?
Not just any,
right.
not just any old
exclusively
Uber driver.
handsome ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, we better end the show here. Thank you very much for listening. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Guy and Harley. Find us on Patreon, patreon.com/Pigville. Find me on OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/Hairy Navel if you want to see my sexy pictures. And that's give us 5 stars if you're on iTunes. If you're on Spotify, hit like the cross thing that makes it like a favorite or something, whatever it is. Do all that stuff. We really appreciate it. Good night.
Thank you, everyone. See you later.